What's up, Sassy Gamers? Today is July 16th, 2021, and this is Got Our Attention Podcast. This is season 2, episode 5, I think we're at now. It's a thing. We're just going to keep trucking along, I guess, until they either shut us down or we decide to move on, I guess, at this point. So I'm here with Brian and Kelly. We got Bruno out in the field again as usual. He's always gone. Apparently he's living in the field at this point.
He's not always
we may have
gone.
to get it. We may have to pitch in and get him a tent. It's a pitch in joke. Okay, anyway. So that was what happened. We had decided previously in a previous podcast that Brian had decided that we wanted to drink PBR coffee. A thing you can find at Target or Kroger or
You can
something.
find it anywhere. Hard
Again,
copies.
let me say this again. It's PBR coffee.
Well, okay, so no, to be clear, since you're not,
I'm not clear. I'm never clear.
one, I didn't know that existed. Two, I thought as a service, just as we go out and we play some crazy,
Yes.
sometimes crummy games as a service for our listeners and viewers, that I figured as a service, we are the ones that could guinea pig this PBR hard coffee. Now, granted, it's been out there for a while. This is not like new. There was a Guinness one that was, I think, newer, and I actually tried that already.
How was it?
And it,
Since we're
it
talking
wasn't
about it.
half bad.
Okay.
It was like kind of chocolatey coffee, and you lost a lot of the Guinness. And Mike noted,
You're gonna lose all of the PBR in this one. Just so you know.
well, that's probably good.
I sure hope
noted
so.
noted beer snob Mike
Yeah.
is said Guinness.
I mean,
And
I
I
know
was
we
like,
talked about
dude,
gatekeeping
I
in the
get-
past, but man, I am
I
super
get-
gatekeeping on this.
I get Guinness is like the mass production type stout. I get that.
No,
and I've
I'm-
had other stouts
I
that
don't
are
want
much
that either.
better. Yes, noted beer snob Mike. So I thought it would be very funny to get the different reactions between him and me. Kelly's already tried it before, but we'll still get her reaction as well for this PBR hard coffee. Because, like, I'm not above like just having a night of PBR, because when you've got a night of hard drinking, you need to rehydrate yourself, and there's nothing better to rehydrate yourself
That's
than PBR.
accurate. That's accurate.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
one
yes,
of the
yes.
many drinks you can do to hydrate, but I get that. My thing is they're trying to do something that I don't think should be together, but we'll see. We'll see in a second. Let's go
I
ahead.
got
We're
it
gonna
up
go ahead
on
and
my
crack
mic.
them.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Ready?
You know, I got to. You got to do. Mike's got. Oh, damn it!
It's all right.
I was gonna say Mike needs to do his like little video countdown thing.
Oh no, we're not doing that. So
I've got my fancy like rainbow straw.
okay, so
too.
first smell. It smells kind of like a yoo-hoo.
It tastes a lot. It's like alcoholic yoo-hoo, and I love it.
It pours like a yoo-hoo.
I am okay. So
not liking this.
okay,
You're not
okay.
liking that.
I'm not
That's
saying
what
this.
Hey, this looks like a latte. It looks like there's no carbonation at all.
This
There's
definitely
basically
smells like a coffee latte. Yeah, it smells like a mocha, mocha
Mm-hmm.
frappuccino, whatever you get like at McDonald's or something. Okay, I'm gonna try this.
Like, yeah,
This-
that's
I'm
just-
not saying you should do this, but I am saying that if you put this in like a
baby
Yeti
bottle?
mug and went to like soccer practice, everybody would think you were drinking your iced coffee.
I just
Mm-hmm.
before
Yeah,
I
no, this
even
looks like an iced coffee.
before I even take a sip of this, my biggest concern here is this smells like this should be a liquor drink. This should not be a beer
Oh.
that
Yeah,
PBR is making. So that part scares me. But
yeah. This
Bottoms
smells. It's really sweet, like
Mhm.
really sweet.
And it's about 1 billion calories, but Mike, does it remind you of Yoo-hoo?
it reminds me of something.
Good gravy. Yeah, it's like I don't taste
like it.
beer at all in this.
Mm-mm.
Like
There's
Yeah, I
definitely
don't
no
think
beer in
Guinness.
here. Mm-mm.
It says this is
Guinness
the original Pabst Blue Ribbon hard iced coffee with a dash of milk. Oh, that's terrible for me. This Java brew balanced with a rich, creamy blend with a
this stream may end very quickly
flavor.
I like it.
I'm glad that Demurin's not here. Actually,
right. I literally do not see the number of calories on this anywhere.
I don't.
I'm sure it's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably like 1,000.
It's really strange. It's
what would make it better?
Here's the problem. You are
apparently
thinking this is going to taste like beer.
Headband and a wife beater is apparently what would make this better. Smoking a Whiston.
According to chat.
The Guinness hard coffee had a beer taste, and it had a little bit of carbonation to it. In fact, the very first one I had kind of foamed up like crazy.
That's what I heard. It was like actual beer and hard coffee,
which wasn't very good. This, as long as you like a sweet iced coffee, this is really good. This would be really good if you added vodka to it. Like this would be really good with some vodka in it. If the 5% ABV, I think is what this. Yes. 5%.
Or if you wanted to add more calories, some Baileys.
I was also thinking Baileys.
I have Baileys in the fridge. We may have to do that.
Baileys,
or stay with me. Whiskey.
I have
whiskey would be good.
So
whiskey would be good. I think
Ink-Ray
Baileys would add.
Well, Ink-Ray in the chat said 245 calories.
That's it? One can is only 245 calories? Well,
that's
I got the other one right here.
Right?
Oh, Jesus.
That's about as much as a Monster Java, really. It's about the same. It's like 260, 270 for a Monster Java.
And you get a little bit of a buzz.
I think Bailey's would put it a little bit too over the top for sweetness.
I don't know. So it's not as bad as I expected. Because I expected it to be terrible in the sense of like, it's a PBR, except it has coffee flavor, which would be very bad. This doesn't taste like beer at all. This tastes like Pabst Blue Ribbon put their name on it, but they're making a hard coffee drink.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I will say, I've also had the Pabst Blue Ribbon harder seltzer, and it also does not taste like beer. They're very distinct drinks.
So, Pabst Brewing Company, if you would like to sponsor us, just note that noted beer snob Zycia said, it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
That's a good quote. You should put that on the can. I mean, that's like, I'd be okay with that.
And the noted day drinker said she liked it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll continue on, and
I'm like halfway done. Good luck with our news, dudes.
More thoughts as we continue this through.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my last thought is it's pretty decent, but it's so coffee-like, and I like my coffee with no sweetener in it.
True.
Like, I get an iced Americano.
I drink coffee with milk or cream. That's what I drink.
Yes, but I'll drink either a latte or an iced Americano, and no sugar.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna buy. So one of my favorite actual coffee beers is gonna be a Prairie Bomb. So I'm gonna buy all of us a Prairie Bomb, and it's like coffee with like pepper, or actually it's not even really coffee. It's more like chocolate. It's like a chocolate pepper beer, but it is so good, and it's a little higher grab than 5%. It's more like a 12. But anyway,
also
it'll be great.
Also noted fan of the site, Runner Diva, had also apparently tried this Pabst Blue Ribbon, and also had tried an interesting new thing, which is called Bailey's Almond Milk. Instead of Bailey's Irish Cream. Yes, Bailey's Almond Milk. And apparently Runner Diva said, and my understanding from that person is that they do not like too much sweets either.
Yeah.
And they said that it is not too sweet to put the Bailey's Almond Milk into it. So there you go. Give that a try.
Wait,
recipe friend.
We have to drink, right? Because you're doing the stroking of the beard, even though you don't have one. But since you were...
As my daughters called it today, your lady beard? Yeah.
Nice. That's a little different.
Up to being Norwegian.
It's kind of like a Jafar. That's what it reminds me of. Okay, so let's get into Kelly's corner, because I'm sure at this point Kelly is getting...
Hold on.
Toasty.
She's had a lot.
But before we get too farther, I do want to notice that I have a lot of lightning and thunder that's happening outside me. I don't know if you've heard some bass coming through there and not. If I suddenly disappear, it's because
on your wave 3, we didn't hear anything.
There we go. And
sorry.
And so anyway, I'm sorry that I interrupted Kelly's Corner.
I love my theme music. I have my own theme music now. All right. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was
snap! That doesn't stream out to the audience.
Oh, well, they'll hear it.
I don't know. I heard it. At least I heard it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah, it should then. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this new.
She heard it too.
Yeah. This new group. We've heard of our flat earthers. Lots of other.
Where are we going with this?
Have we heard about the flat earthers?
God, I didn't check the news today. I should have looked at this stuff. What are you bringing up today?
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Oh my God, what is this?
It's got my attention
so far.
Yeah. So the newest thing that I ran across from one of my very favorite sites. You're going to have to beep this out. I will tell you when at 24 minutes, 30 something seconds. I fucking love science. Amazing, amazing site. You should definitely check it out. iflscience.com. Talking to us about how birds aren't real. There's a new group who swears that birds are not real. It is
no longer real.
Yes, no longer real. The CIA, according to this crazy group, obviously IFL Science believes in science, does not believe this is real, but they were reporting on this, saying that the CIA was behind it and that JFK was originally assassinated because of it, because he didn't want to, do this whole birds aren't real thing.
Wait, supposedly, so JFK was behind the birds not real thing?
No, he didn't want to. He didn't want to back the birds aren't real thing. So,
but this goes back that far, back to the 60s.
That's how far it goes. Yes.
Okay. So make sure I'm understanding this.
Yeah. So supposedly the CIA decided that we needed to really start listening to Americans and really hearing what they're saying, get all of this evidence, and
they do that every day.
Down.
It's called a cell phone.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and also the other thing is they were really
Facebook.
They're really ticked that they were pooping on their cars. So,
oh my God.
Went ran. Eventually, very recently, killed all the birds. Birds were real. Killed all the birds. Now they're all listening devices. And when you see a bird and it is on a wire, it's recharging.
Okay. Wow, that's good. So we don't have rechargeable cars yet for the most part.
No.
But we have rechargeable birds.
We have rechargeable birds, and they are all rechargeable.
That makes perfect sense. We've got drones that recharge. I mean, they're about the same size. We've actually legitimately made small little like flappy wing insect type things that kind of work somewhat well. So I mean, they put some thought in this when they're on the electrical wires. They're recharging. That's brilliant.
I can't wait for the next Netflix this documentary.
Especially
speaking of that, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mike, because they are creating one right now.
Come on, shut up. That's ridiculous.
Did you guys watch the Flat Earther documentary on Netflix?
I have watched it, yes.
Okay.
I watched...
Brian, if you have not,
enough.
you have to. Oh my gosh, no. Just trust me. Watch it until the end.
I couldn't. I got halfway through it. I was like, I just can't. Like, I can't. Like, when they finally proved them wrong, I was like... And the guy's like, well... Like some other things. I'm like, yeah, those other things are called science, and that's kind of why this. Yeah. Anyway, no, it's funny. It's funny that you brought up the no bird thing because I thought you were going in a different direction. Which a video I saw recently was a guy. It was a reaction video of a reaction video, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is ridiculous. My buddy was like, dude, you got to watch. It's unbelievable. It's effing crazy. And I'm like, and I love my buddy is like super, like he can believe, he gives me the most ridiculous shit sometimes. Like, sorry. But he does. He just, I don't know. So the stuff he believes, I'm just like, wow, okay. I mean, hey, cool, whatever. We can believe whatever, right? So he sends me this video and he's like, and I'm like, all right, so I click it. And it's a reaction video of a reaction video. And it's about this guy. The video they're watching is a guy that was apparently in Spain that in 2021, today, present time, he somehow ported to the future. And he's living in 2027.
Oh, yeah.
I did see this.
Okay.
Yes, continue.
So I'm watching the video and I'm like, okay, what is this thing about? So the guy's showing all this footage. He's saying like basically Walking Dead. He woke up in a hospital and all his information's there. Everything says 2021, but all of the computers, all the technology, his phone, everything says 2027. And he goes to the point where even showing like Google at home, like listening to the little devices and stuff like, hey, what's today? And it actually says blah, 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 2027. And if you know, like if you have those devices, go to your device right now and ask it what day it is. Like you can't like tell it not to do that. So there has to be some, if this isn't real, there has to be some level of programming there, right? But he goes outside and he shows like footage of like going down the street. This is like in Spain, and it's like in a popular part of Spain. There's like a lot of like landmarks and things that people visit, and there's no one, like absolutely no one. Cars are parked everywhere, and he keeps mentioning, and there's no birds. There's no birds in the sky. Nothing is moving, and it's. So I'm watching this, and it's probably a 30-minute long video. And in the first 10 minutes, I'm like, okay. Obviously, he did some good video editing. And then, like, by the 30-minute mark, I'm like, holy crap. Like, there's a lot of stuff that he covered that, like, he walks into a police station. He takes a police car. He walks into... And these are, like, famous places in Spain. Like, walks into, like, the huge arena for, like, soccer. Like, there's a soccer field over there. Like, walks into there, the backyard, into the locker room. So, like, he has, like... If this is not real, right? Like, he has to have connections to everyone. Like, he has to be a rich, like, famous guy that... just can do whatever, because literally no one.
I will say one of the things that I noticed about that video is all the cars were old. Like it was convenient that there were no people around, because therefore he couldn't get a newspaper and say, oh, it's 2027, you know? So those are the things that stood out to me saying.
So obviously it's a prank, right? Like this is, it's very good. Like
it was a very good prank.
Stunt.
It was a very good prank.
But what was so awesome was that he put this on like TikTok. He was like posting on TikTok, which I think maybe this is the first time I went to TikTok. Went to TikTok, right? Because I wanted to go see this guy's post to see what the heck this was.
Mike,
so they did
first of all, Mike is a secret TikTok lover. Don't believe him.
So,
we like to prank him by sending him TikToks.
So I go there, and like people are actually asking him to go to different locations. So they're like, oh, because you're living there now in this alternate universe, like go to the BMW store and just take a car. And he like shows footage of like him walking to a BMW store. There's like nobody there. Grabs a key that's off a table conveniently placed on the counter.
Oh,
and
convenient.
Like grabs this car and like takes off in the night after he does a couple edits of like him driving later that afternoon. I'm like, I get it. It's still done very well for him to have that much like time and editing and to make sure, because obviously he had to have done this during like 2020.
Admirable.
Like 2020,
very admirable.
With COVID,
I think he's still doing it right now.
Well, that's the thing is with 2020 with COVID, like everything was locked down, especially in like in different countries. Like they took it a lot more seriously than we did in the US. But so people were definitely not going outside. So to get this kind of footage, if he timed it right, I think he could do it. I mean, obviously he did. But it was a very interesting way to look at it. And when I went to his page, like finally after I listened to the story, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. The first thing I found was like the second posted video from recent was a video of like some pigeons. And he's like, all of a sudden now he's like, oh, I guess pigeons are coming back now. There's pigeons now. And he's like filming them. I'm like, oh, okay, come on, guys. We're done here, right? But like, he's got like a bunch of followers and stuff. It's just, I don't know. So when you said pigeons aren't real, that's, well, you know. They
I wouldn't be
as chat says, yes, they recharged. That's why they're back now. So the pigeons were back, and that is why they had pigeons in the video.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was viral marketing. program, and that's where some of the money came from to do it.
And that's where so what the guy who was doing the reaction of the reaction, right? So he was the guy that I'm actually watching the video for. It's just mind-boggling that we have reactions of reactions. But he was saying the same thing. He's like, this seems like some like next engine game, like some new AR technology on your phone where you can like remove people from the background, and they're just doing this big publicity stunt to like make us believe this stuff. He's like, this is just wild. And I'm sitting there thinking like, well, that's probably not too far-fetched. Like that could be a thing. Like they did this for a stunt. I mean, it's totally true. Could be anyway.
It was pretty serious.
Anyway, sorry to hijack your corner there, but
no, this is what Kelly's corner is. Kelly's corner is all about love and embracing other people's opinions and then just like knocking them down.
Okay, so I was going to say, are we doing yoga or is this a different type of yoga?
Oh, no.
Namaste. Much
more aggressive.
No.
Yes.
We're drinking. We're not doing yoga.
Oh, man.
Drinking yoga would be fun.
I
mean, the balance part.
I'm not saying I haven't done it, so. The wrong person to talk to about this stuff.
Here we are all drinking on the podcast. I mean, I wonder what kind of influence this lady is. Like, it's weird.
Serious. So the next thing. So I recently took Mike to the zoo and we missed one really amazing exhibit. One of my very favorite exhibits, which is the giant pandas who are on loan from China. And the giant pandas are no longer technically endangered. They are listed as a vulnerable species. So doesn't mean we can't, you just send them back out in the wild and everything's okay. And, but they have been rehabilitated or are being rehabilitated. We are, hold on, what's chat saying?
Bad things.
Okay.
Just keep going. Ignore mud butt.
I love mud butt. So we've got the pandas coming back, and China. I don't know if everybody knows this, but China loans all of their pandas to all of the zoos. So every panda at any zoo in the U.S., I'll just use that as the example. They are property of China. And when those pandas do procreate and create baby pandas, those baby pandas are also property of China. So we have China to thank for rehabilitating this population, but also all of the zoos. Whether I'm sure lots of people have different feelings about zoos. That can be a separate podcast, but one of the great things about the zoos is that we have started to rehabilitate the population of pandas. It was super cute. I want to snuggle with them and play and feed them bamboo. And
very cool. Okay.
Yep.
Well, Mr. Zycia, I think it's time for the news.
For the news. And you know what? The fact that I didn't know that was going to play was quite amazing.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
I feel like I'm on like 1970s, like some movie that was filmed that had a news crew on the show. That's what I feel like right now. That was amazing. All right. So here's the news this week. Actually, we had some pretty, one was a major announcement. One was also pretty enlightening with some new stuff, but everybody's talking about it because it's brand new. I literally did this as well. But Valve has announced that they are producing a Steam Deck, not to be confused with Elgato's Stream Deck, which we'll talk about later. So the Steam Deck is a handheld device. It looks very similar to another handheld device that's made by a different manufacturer. But it does have, it's a lot thicker.
Is this one sold at adult stores?
No, this one, I guess technically
wrong handheld device.
Technically it is an adult store. I've bought a lot of things, a lot of products from this adult store, from the different products they sell. So the Steam Deck is a handheld device. It looks very similar to, like, if you guys remember, like, the Sega Game Gear.
Brian can't stop.
I think you broke them. But yeah, there's like a Sega Game Gear, and it's similar to that. It has two analog sticks, left and right, just like typical.
It's got sticks, huh?
But they're actually even.
Continue.
They're not unbalanced, I guess. Like the Switch has the stick like on the right bottom, where like the left one's on the top left. And then you have like your PlayStation controllers with both analog sticks at the bottom. You have Xbox that has like the unilateral ones, like the cross or whatever. And this one is both at the top. They also have triggers underneath both sides, along with some other buttons, along with your X and your Y and your A and your B. And it looks like a little trackpad on the right side as well. So why this is super important and why this is like big news is that Valve has produced this Steam Deck to be a handheld device. And what it is it's running Steam OS. So if you're familiar with Steam and they have the big picture mode that you're running, like if you want to put it on if you ever had a Steam Link, if you actually bought one of those, I think I think just gave my friend my Steam Link from years ago. But it's basically, it's an OS they have for their own platform for Steam, which is a place to buy games and run games and do all that fun stuff. But it allows that little computer that you're holding to be able to interact with the Steam store and also interact with your library. So I say computer because it's a very important part to this. So I'm like a huge PC advocate, right? Like I'm always like PC Master Race. Everybody's like consoles. I'm like, whatever, PC Master Race, whatever. This is the first time I'm like, this is kind of cool. It's kind of like a console, but it's not a console. And Brian made sure to specify that earlier because it's really not. It's actually a handheld PC. So not a laptop. It's not like a thing like that, but it is a handheld device that is literally a PC. And I'm going to go through some of the stuff, the points around this. There's an IGN article or IGN video you can watch that has like all of the frequently asked questions. Basically, as soon as it was announced, they had 3 developers from Valve like sitting on the couch and they're like, hey, here are the top questions we had about this and answer it. And they were just like, yeah, okay, here's the answer. So the first thing is there's 3 different models. The models are all the same outside of the storage capacity, which is different. And I'll touch on that in just a second. But the first model is $399, which is your base model. It comes with, I think it's 512 megabytes, I think, internal storage. And that one allows you to play whatever has, good performance. So when you go past the $399 model, the $529 and the $649 models they have NVMe hard drives in those. So the performance is going to be a lot faster than like the solid state drive that we have in the $399 model. But ultimately, they all have 16 gigs of RAM. They all have the same screen, which the screen is it's a 7-inch, 7x20 native screen. The aspect ratio is 16:10, so it's exact about around 1280 by 800 is what you're looking at. The internal actual chip that it has, the processor, is an AMD's Zen 2 Ryzen. So pretty current. It's not top of the line right now. I think Ryzen 3. I think the Zen 3 is out. But they do have RDNA graphics. I think Brian will actually tell us a little bit more about the specs side of it because obviously I'm not that great in specs.
Well, also some of the higher models also have better glass in front of the screen. So they have a couple other perks. The drive is substantially faster. And the base model's only 64 gig of drive space, of which some of it's for the OS. So you literally will not be able to load certain games directly to the drive that's within the device.
Yeah, I misspoke earlier. I said 512.
Because believe it or not, you might actually be able to play some decent games on this. Because stop me if you've heard this before. It's a single system on a chip, which is what AMD calls an APU instead of a CPU. And it has a Zen 2 CPU with RDNA 2 GPU architecture. That's right. Those are the exact same words that are used to describe the chips found in your Xbox Series S and your PlayStation 5. Now, where the difference is that the chips in the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series are essentially larger. They're 8-core chips versus the 4-core chip that's going to be in this. They will have more compute units on the GPU side than this does. So think of it like maybe half the power of an Xbox Series S is what people are guesstimating at, since they don't have hardware in hand yet. So should be pretty interesting that you're going to be able to run some pretty modern AAA titles, not full graphics, but you only have 800 horizontal size anyway. So, you know, you're not going to be running ray tracing on it or anything like that, but you could run, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 if you have a SD card to put it on, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is like over 100 gig in size, at least for the base model. That would be too big. You could run GTA, but that's nothing. GTA is becoming like Skyrim, and next thing you know, you're going to be able to run GTA on your refrigerator.
So to kind of go back to
just real quick.
Yeah. Just want to watch you drink.
No, I was just
the PBR. That's fine though. I liked it. It was great. Got to watch it. You're gonna crack another one. Jesus. Okay. Here we are.
I should have done that on the audio. Sorry. Here you go.
There we go. Should blow
Goes
bubbles.
down so smooth you can't even hear it.
Whoa.
So what do you have? Did you have something, or was that it?
Sorry.
Were you still talking about the PBR?
Oh god.
That was it.
Good intermission right there. That's fun. So one thing to mention though, the internal storage is what we're talking about here. So you're buying one of the Steam Decks with internal storage. One of the questions was, well, can you expand that? And Valve developers said, no, you can't expand the internal storage. However, there is an SD slot where you can expand external storage. So whatever SD card size you have, you'll be able to use that. I believe it's micro SD. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's micro SD. So if you, just like any other console right now that you have, like you can always expand that by getting a bigger hard drive. Same thing. You can install that hard drive with the SD and install whatever game you have. So I know a lot of people are right now going like, okay, great, another handheld console. This is great. Whatever. I was kind of the same way when I first heard the announcement. I was like, this isn't really a game changer, really. Like, it's just another console. Like, why did Valve decide to do this rather than like make Half-Life 3, right? Because that's what we all been never going to get.
They're not going to make Half-Life 3.
No, I know it's a joke. It's never going to happen. But the idea is, what's going to happen is the rest of this stuff that I'm going to talk about is what actually changed my mind and made me go, wow, I actually kind of want to have one of these. So they asked about the docking
Was it
station.
because it was not a console? Or
Yeah.
is this technically
No,
considered
really,
a console?
really.
Are you?
It's a PC.
It's a PC.
It's a PC, and I'll explain through and through why.
And consoles are PCs.
Yeah. So the biggest.
Thank you, Brian.
Before I get there, is the dock situation. So people were like, "Well, this is kind of like the Switch. Like, do they have a dock? Can we play this on my TV at home?" And they said,
Mike
right
likes
now,
his docking.
Yeah. Right now, they don't have a dock created yet. They are in the process of making one. They don't have one available for sale. They don't know when that's going to happen. They just know they are making one. It's coming. But one of the developers there said also, any USB-C dock that is available, you can just use that. Like, you don't have to wait for ours. Ours is coming. We don't know when it's announced. We don't even know if it's not going to be launch day. But if you want one, you can totally just use a regular USB-C dock. So technically you could use, well, I guess not, depending on the placement. But anything for any USB-C dock, you can definitely use. Again, that's not what turned my mind. I was like, okay, cool. I can play it on my PC. Or I play it on my TV. So this sounds like I can take this on vacation and play at my parents' house or play at, whatever hotel I'm at. Cool. Mm-hmm. The other part of this is Steam library, right? So if you're like me, most likely if you have Steam, you have probably over 100 games that you have never played before. You've bought them during a various sale, have never played them, and you probably would never play them ever. But this is going to give you an opportunity to do that because you're going to be able to have this handheld device and you're going to be like, you know what? Let me just try this game out. So that's my own personal thing to throw on this. But so the other things they talked about is it's a USB-C port. They do have Bluetooth available as well. So if you have any controller you want to use or any headset or anything that's Bluetooth enabled, you can also use that to connect to this device. Some of the promo pictures they're using to kind of show off what they're doing is some of the hitboxes they have for fighting games, like the big, bulky, almost like arcade-style joysticks and all the pads or whatever. Those are plugged into this device and they're all like playing. So that's really cool. So that's one of the cool things. I see you guys are like yelling at me in chat. That's fine. That's fine. I'm excited. So that wasn't like the cool part, right? So I'm like, it's just still, it's a Switch, whatever. We're talking about Steam here.
But is it?
But Switch? The next comment, next FAQ question that came about was, so it's a PC, and they're like, yeah, it's a PC, and they're like, so if I wanted to just go to like IGN.com, like they were talking about because it's IGN, they're like, could I do that? And they're like, sure, why not? It's a PC. And then he said, okay, well, if I wanted to go to like Xbox, gaming services like Xbox Live and go to my Xbox Game Pass, can I do that? And they're like, again, it's a PC.
Yeah, it's
sure.
a PC.
Why can't you? So if I wanted to play, he's like, I don't care. Like, it's a PC. If you can do it on your PC, you can do it on this device.
Also, I'm confused why you're even bringing this up because it's a PC. I don't understand why anyone asked those questions. Because like they say there's no stupid questions. Those are stupid questions. Yeah. This is just a PC. Yeah. That's all it is. It's a laptop for anything. It's got a 40 watt-hour battery, which isn't great. This is not like if you got a long plane ride, you better hope they have a USB charger of decent amperage there because this thing's going to run out on you.
So the battery is a good question.
But
they talked about it.
It's still a fun looking device. I don't want to be down on the device. I'm just saying the battery size doesn't look great on it.
So they said, they asked about the battery as one of the things. And they said like playing Portal 2, for example, which is kind of dated at this point, still Source Engine. It is definitely one of the better engines and definitely, done well. They can play Portal 2 for about 4 to 6 hours. So it's not it's not something that's going to die right away. It's definitely going to work.
When I bought my laptop brand new, it lasted for 5 hours. Now, a year in, it lasts like 3.5.
Yeah, and I can see that.
Those batteries that they use for laptops notoriously die out on their longevity, as it were, as they get older.
Yeah.
So some Blue Chew.
The other question they had too was exactly that. Like in a few years, or in a year's time, really, because of the market, they're like, are we expecting another version of this? Are we expecting like upgrades? Can we swap hardware? Is that like a thing? And they said, we're looking at the market. We're looking at what we want to do. We're still developing. But what they're saying is, they're going to basically give the license. If anybody wants to use SteamOS and make their own hardware and make their own device,
it's a really smart move.
Valve is like, sure, go for it. I don't care. Make whatever you want. I don't care. We're still going to make one. We're still going to make another Steam Deck 2.0 or whatever. But if you want to make your own and put your own hardware like AMD or do some Intel, whatever, I don't care. They don't care. They're like, do it.
But that's what killed their whole Steam console before. That, and they didn't make much of their own hardware. This time it looks like they're actually, the only way this is going to survive is if they actually make the hardware and support making the hardware, because their whole Steam console idea that they had before with the Steam OS, that pittered out so fast it was ridiculous. It would, like, manufacturers tried to release their own and it didn't last 2 months because Steam didn't actually do their own. So they weren't really incentivized to keep up with Steam OS and keep pushing it forward and keep updating it and making it compatible with things. It looks like based off of the pre-orders, which have been going nuts. I'm sure next week we'll report on probably how many pre-orders that they had.
Well, I can report on that kind of right now, as of today, as of right now. So Pavel, I'm going to murder his last name. It's Dejuntic, I think. He's one of the creators of SteamDB. So SteamDB is one of the sites you can go to like see a bunch of stats of like the different things going on with Steam. He posted earlier based on his data that he's got from Steam in the US. So North America, I guess you could say, the 512 gig, they already sold 55,000 units. As far as reservations, it's reservations. These are all res. The 256 gig was 28,000 in Europe. 512 was 9.6 thousand. In the 256 was 5,000, and then the UK was 512. I'm sorry, the 512 was 7K. So
and
they've already
got price points again on these.
So $399 for the lower tier, the base, then $529, and then $649.
I mean, for a handheld that is comparable to the Switch
is $350.
Yeah. This is a pretty serious jump, one, but two, you can do almost everything that the Switch can do minus the Nintendo games.
And plus some
legally.
of the things that Switch definitely can't do.
Legally, yes. Yeah, and plus a lot of the stuff that the Switch can't.
You absolutely legally can play Nintendo games on this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm referring to like Breath of the Wild, like playing games that are definitely not available on other platforms, like running those like emulators basically to do that. So,
emulators are not illegal.
True.
They're not.
No, you're right.
They themselves are not. You're correct.
Downloading the ROMs without owning them first is illegal. You are supposed to have the cartridge or software yourself, and you're supposed to dump that yourself.
Yep.
It's the ownership of the game is whether it becomes legal.
I'm not sure everybody's doing that. So anyway, so
no one's doing
going
that.
with this. So they're also asked about multiplayer. Is there multiplayer? Well, they said there is no internal cellular service. So there's no going to be like anywhere you go, just download a game. Their Wi-Fi is definitely required. But they said as far as multiplayer, if you have Wi-Fi, you can play any like, again, it's a PC. So any game that has multiplayer, you can play online with your people that you want to play with. The other part of that is co-op and split screen. They're like, can you do that? And they're like, again, it's a PC. So if the game has that and you have the ability to have controllers to plug into the device, you can play with your friends or, couch co-op it. Like you can do that. So those are really cool things to mention. Also auto light sensor. So God, I remember being like in my parents' car on a major trip somewhere and it's nighttime because of the light, it's already past daybreak. And basically like I'm sitting there with my little like antenna on my Game Boy and I'm like trying to like see my screen. This thing literally will adapt. Yeah, it'll adapt to the screen. So like if it's just like your phone, it'll adapt to the sunlight to see if like it needs more backlit or not. So that is a thing that's happening. And one of the last things I had was like, and I kind of touched on this earlier, but it was like they in another interview they mentioned like, what if I just wipe this and just install Windows? Like, what if I do that? And they're like,
let me ask. Did they say? Again, it's a PC.
It's a PC. They literally said that. Like, they were like, we don't care. You want to install Windows on it? Fine. We don't care. Like, the point is, you still paid for the device, and you're still going to most likely play the Steam games for which you bought it to start with. So you literally can do whatever. You can play Xbox. You can play this. I mean, the sky's... So the point, like, this whole thing is what's mind-blowing to me is this is a dig, like, at Nintendo. I really do feel it is a dig at Nintendo.
It really is.
I'm not saying Nintendo's going to go out of business.
How so?
I'll explain. I don't think that Nintendo is going to lose a fan base. That's not going to happen. Like, they have exclusivity with certain titles like Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania. You're not going to lose those games.
Right.
But not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, they just announced the new Switch, right? And the new Switch everybody complained about. It was like, well, this is boring.
It's
like
new.
This isn't like what we expected. But yet,
how's this a dig at Nintendo? I don't get that. This is the market. The market is proven to be big enough that we can have more than one player in it. All they're doing is this isn't a new thing. NVIDIA Shield has been out there and has quite the fan base.
Right.
And the NVIDIA Shield is nearly identical to this.
Right. But NVIDIA... Steam has a bigger name behind this. NVIDIA's not Valve.
Again,
yeah.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like, why is this a dig? It's not a dig. They're just releasing a product. They're not like, oh, I'm going to stick it to the man.
Yeah.
Fuck Nintendo. They're not doing that.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah.
And if anything, they don't want Nintendo to go anywhere because the competition is good for everyone. The reason why we have this is competition.
The whole point is, go ahead.
As long as either part of the competition doesn't start saying, oh, now everything is going to be separate. Everything is going to be owned by whoever. And
Yeah.
So again, after that announcement, Nintendo, now they're releasing the Steam Deck. And obviously, they are on the only other console that's out there. And yes, again, like you said, this is Valve we're talking about here. This isn't a normal little company that's trying to do something that's whatever. This is Valve. Valve will do whatever they want to do. Gabe Newell will do what the heck he wants to do.
Yeah, but that's the negative as much of it as positive. Look at the Steam OS. Look at the previous consoles. They like, this is the next best thing, and we're here to the end. And guess what? The end is 2 months later. You guys can all go, pound sand. It's just as bad.
And I get
they
that.
Can do
I'm not
anything.
saying I owned a Steam Link.
That's a bad thing.
I owned
not
a Steam
good
Link.
thing.
Steam Link wasn't that. It was okay. It just wasn't great. And obviously, it's now buried in my closet somewhere. But this is a different world. This is a different. It's like everything.
Let's see how this works out.
It's not.
Nobody has it in their hands right now, right?
Well, not yet.
Well, no, because it doesn't even come out till December. Because this is just an announcement.
It doesn't even exist. So I'll be curious come December.
Yeah, my point though is that for the things you're talking about with Steam are not good things. They're bad things. Steam and Valve will do whatever they want. That's not a good thing. Because it's not a whole new world, because that has been said over and over and over and over again with Valve. And Valve will support something as long as it continues forward and becomes popular. And if it's not, I mean, they're literally as bad as Google. They're literally as bad as Google. Yeah. If it doesn't get a certain level of popularity, they are very draconian and very businesslike about it. And they're a business. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. I'm just saying what you're saying it like it's a good thing. It's not a good thing.
It's 100% a good thing.
They will do whatever they want. And if they decide that this is not going to make them money, they're just going to stop it. And it will just go right down again. Again, though, it is a PC. So whoever has it, it's not like it's going to stop working for them. Just like the Steam OS consoles didn't just like stop working for them. They just didn't get further support. So, I mean,
1 year from now,
know what the OS is running on this.
Nintendo better step up their game in the next reveal. In 1 year, this is going to destroy their market. Absolutely.
It is not going to destroy their market.
Absolutely.
And it is not going to destroy their market, first of all, because the market is much bigger than that. And
the biggest jump for Nintendo was the fact that they actually allowed third parties to actually play on their console. Like Skyrim, they literally put that in their opening Nintendo Switch announcement. Was like, hey, you can actually play Skyrim. Who cares? We can play that on Steam Deck. Nobody cares now.
That's fine, but
we only did that because we had to buy a Switch. We don't have to.
You're saying these are like comparable devices. They're not comparable devices. You can get into the Nintendo Switch for cheaper, and it is much lighter,
not much
more portable. $50 cheaper is significant.
Yeah, it is cheaper.
If you're buying hardware, that's like not that much, especially if you're wanting to get a better console with all of your games in your library.
When it's almost 20% cheaper, that is significant.
It is.
And on top of that, when they of course, again, like Kelly pointed out, they have their first party titles, which is an important thing. This isn't going to kill Nintendo. And also,
I never said that. I never said it's going to kill them.
No.
It's going to shake them up.
You said it was going to. Yeah. You said it was going to destroy their market.
Yeah, their new market. Absolutely.
It's not going to. It is not going in any way, shape, or form going to destroy that market. Just like PlayStation 5. Everybody's like, oh, it's numbers. It's destroying Xbox. Xbox just had a record month selling hardware. People just don't understand.
Those are two different things, though. You have Microsoft. Microsoft is software.
It's two competing consoles.
Microsoft is software. PS5 is about the actual exclusivity games. Like that's what they're caring about. It's not Microsoft.
That's my point. That's my point that you just didn't get. Microsoft is about software, but they just had their biggest month selling hardware on the Xbox ever. Not the Xbox Series X. Their biggest month selling hardware ever. This time last year when they were selling the Xbox One, they way outstripped it. So if they're such a software company, they're doing that. My point is the market is so much bigger that we can have other people come in and it's fine. And it's not going to destroy Nintendo's market. And the other point too, is that no one should be surprised that the new Nintendo Switch is just a small uptick. That's how they do it. That's how they did it in the past, multiple times on the 3DS. They didn't go from the first 3D. There was multiple 3DSs before they got to the last one that had a faster processor. Of course, they're going to release one with faster processor. Even before this announcement, everybody knew for a fact, even after the OLED announcement, that they were going to do another Switch in the future with a faster hardware in it, because that's what Nintendo does. That's what they've been doing. It's not a surprise. They're not going to do it in reaction to this, because when they do these things, it's usually year plus in the planning. It's not something that like, so they didn't just sit up yesterday and go,
multi-year plus.
Oh my God, this came out. We're going to need a faster Switch. Let's get on that. No, they've been working on it for like 6-8 months already.
Right. And this is going to be another example of, are they going to release a GameCube or are they going to release a Switch? And that's what it's going to come down to.
No, it's not. They're going to release a faster Switch. Because
I have a feeling they're going to release something completely
different.
Wii
U is a real
that's
big
what
hit.
happens.
Well, no, I think they're going to do one more iteration on the Switch. Look at the 3DS, the DS to the 3DS. That whole generation right there was 6 iterations that they went through on that. They're very big in recent history in just doing multiple small iterations, and they're not trying to resell what they're releasing to all the people that already have one. The Switch OLED is not for people that have a Switch. It's for people that are are buying a new Switch, and now they'll buy one that's, a small modicum better. And then later they'll release a more powerful one, like they did with like the 3DS, which was more powerful and then offered 3D. And then they're like, hey, if you had an original DS, maybe you would like to jump up to this now. But that's okay if you don't, because we're still going to be like having these games working in your DS for, another year or so to come anyway. So, there's no doom and gloom here. This is
that's your opinion, man.
That's true.
That's true.
Opinion,
that's why we're here. Yeah. But this is something that's good competition, and I am super happy about it. I mean, I love the fact that
I'm all down for good competition, and I think it's great. I'm not saying that it's not good competition, but I don't think Steam is looking at this going like, oh, it's just good competition. It's good to be in a market. That's not what they're looking for.
No, I didn't say that either. Steam jumps in and they're like, we want to kill it. We want to just totally grab a huge market share. But they're also, if they don't grab that market share in a timely manner, they'll kill the product.
I mean, I agree with that, but I don't think that's going to happen. And we can review this later in the future.
I didn't say that would happen. I just said that's the danger of them doing whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you guys heard it here first. You can go check out the Steam announcement. Steam Deck is available on Steam currently. I don't know if it's actually still available. You may be able to try. I did reserve mine today for $5. That's all the reservation is.
$5?
It does $5 reservation. It does release in December 21st. And I don't know if they do like most retailers where they check your bank account constantly to make sure you have enough money to pay for it. Because if they do, then they can F right off. But if that's the case, I won't get one. But if they do, I'll definitely buy one when I do get it back in December. So they will charge you in December when you get it. So that is the current time. We have a lot more stuff to talk about. So let's move on.
Also, the reservation is 100% refundable.
Yeah, up to 30 days.
Sorry. Your reservation is 100% refundable. If it is within the first 30 days, it goes back to your card. If it's after the 30 days, it'll go to your Steam wallet.
So I read that.
It is 100% refundable all the way up to the end. Yeah, it's funny if you let somebody finish their sentence. I'm messing. We interrupt each other all the time. I'm messing.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
This guy.
I am.
All right, so we have something else to talk about, which Phoenix will talk about because he's been at PAX East all week.
What? No. No, I don't know why you said that. Because what I'm talking about and didn't need an introduction for is Elgato actually did a showcase of actual releases that you can purchase now as opposed to December. They didn't feel necessary to trample on someone else's news of their little iteration that they did. No, Elgato. So, Elgato, love them or hate them. I mean, we actually use a couple of their products and actually kind of like them. I mean, I've got my Stream Deck right here. That's what I queued the music up with. Mike uses his Stream Deck to cue the transitions in between when we're streaming.
So again, without even trying to destroy this.
Stream Deck versus Steam Deck.
Stream Deck versus Steam Deck, not to be confused.
Yes. So Elgato did announce a number of products. The least of their announcements was the Mark II of the Stream Deck that Mike has there, which is the regular sized one as opposed to the XL or the smaller side. I got the larger one. The Mark II is just it's the same thing. There's no reason to upgrade to it, but if you're getting one for the first time, it's a nice add-on, especially since it's got these changeable faceplates. Right now, the faceplates are just like 7 different ones you could choose from. There's no... I would imagine that there is going to be some type of third parties that like jump in and offer, like custom faceplates to be made. So you could put like your streaming logo on it or something like that, or your colors that you like and stuff like that.
Really pretty.
Yeah, no, and they look good and they just snap right into place. It's really cool. And I don't, it's definitely a cool thing because you should have that level of customization to your hardware devices that you spend a decent amount of money on it. I support that type of customization. I think that's awesome. That's their least announcement. Some of their, and we do use some Elgato products. Otherwise, this is a Wave 3. Kelly's got her Wave 3. And they're really fun mics. And I actually mention it because one of the things about the Elgato products is, we talk about Xbox is really good with software and, PlayStation's really good with hardware, or at least both of them used to be. There's some negatives on both of those sides there, but Elgato's really been interesting that they produce some relatively decent hardware. I mean, it's not like studio grade $10,000 mics or anything like that. But I mean, streamers typically aren't going to have that to drop on a mic unless they're like iJustine or someone who's like makes boat tons of money. So they make some reasonably good hardware. Like the capacitive mute is really nice, but they back it up with good software.
Yes.
Like really nice software.
Yeah.
The software for the Stream Deck is really solid. It's very easy to like put actions on there and put multiple actions on a single key press.
It's click and drag, literally. Everything is click and drag. Drag and drop.
And drag and drop. You can even like make your own icons for it. It's really cool. The software for the Wavelink is really awesome. It's the reason why I was able to like drop in Kelly's theme music. Because I have Potato for Voice Meter, and Voice Meter, for whatever reason wasn't working well with Discord on my computer. It works fine on other people's. So I couldn't like throw my music onto the stream easily. And it literally was until I got this mic and until I got the software that I could get that to work properly. So it's got some really cool software for mixing audio. So they thought about that and they're like, well, why should we keep this to ourselves? And they released I think it's called the Wave XLR. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So the Wave XLR is literally, it's the most hilarious looking hardware I've ever seen. So it's a big knob with LEDs around it with an XLR jack in the back.
Right, an XLR jack. That's literally that's what it's called.
Yeah. Like so an XLR, for those that don't know, it's just what standard mics are used in the music industry and other places like that. It's a standardized plug for the back for just these standalone microphones. And you can get XLR mics for reasonable amounts all the way up to studio quality unreasonable $50,000 mics, I guess.
Well, and also with that, I think another part of this is like looking at people who are on stream that are like musicians, right? So if you're a musician, like you have XLR mics, you have a nice condenser mic that you want to be able to use. But I'm like,
or a dynamic.
I literally thought about that. I'm like, how am I going to make this work? And I was like, I got the HyperX because I'm like, this is a USB mic. At least I can use that. But now with the XLR, like that's really neat.
Yeah. And it's got so typically XLR mics, depending on the mic and between dynamic mic and condenser mics, there's differences. We won't go into that too much. But typically they need a preamp, and this thing has a 50 decibel preamp and then a 25 extra decibels on top of that software. So that's pretty cool. That's what the Go XLR, which is a very popular one right now for similar things for this mixing and bringing in a single XLR mic. They're comparable in price. It's really nice little thing, but looking at it, it looks so simple because it's like this giant volume knob. And that's like all it is, because it allows you to use the same software that we use with the Wave 3. And so it allows you to do the mixing in your computer of multiple different channels. And you can do virtual channels. You mix all these different things and mix things to your stream, mix things to your monitor, which is what you're hearing. You can even send separate things to your monitor versus your stream. So you can just do like the music you're listening to yourself could be different than what you're sending out to the stream. So that's a cool thing. To top it off, they have 2 microphone arms, which are really nice looking microphone arms with hidden springs. Hidden springs, which I'm a fan of because I got hidden springs in this one. And on top of that, they have a channel for your cable. So my cable, which you can't see my cable too much because this right here is a Velcro strap holding my cable on the opposite side. So you can see it down here. And then it actually, if I move it out, you can see where it messed up and it kind of popped. Well, I can't move that far, but it kind of popped up at one point. So, but yeah, I just manually did that. They've got this magnetic cover that goes on top of a tray that you can like put your cable into. So that's really nice. And it had some decent length, which is why I was like sending the video to Mike live. It was happening. I was like, you've got to get this because this thing looks like, because his doesn't stretch far enough.
So the first thing
that's what she said.
The first thing I looked at when you sent me that was the larger version, right? So it was very bulky. I mean, that thing is massive. That looks like a massive device, right?
It's not a larger version. It's a taller over the top version. It's the tradition. It's got an optional riser, and then from there it's got the traditional 1-2 arms, right? And then there's the low profile one,
right? Which I was getting to. Which the larger one. It's not that it's it's bigger. It's like the hardware looks thicker. I literally sent him a text and I said thick with 2 C's. And then I was like, oh, but they have a low profile, like the LP, which is very skinny, very thin, very like pretty much out of place. Like you can just put that in there and just like kind of like move it out of the way and not see it. So one of those seemed very good, which the price point of like $100 was not. I mean, yeah. So the thing with Elgato software, Elgato company, period, like all their products seem kind of pricey at first. Like $150, like this, it's gonna do this thing. Literally, the Stream Deck, this little one that I have here is like $150.
Is it a little deck?
Little deck.
It's a little deck
that I have. It's $150, and it's probably one of the best $150 I've ever spent.
Worry.
When it comes to,
I've got the extra large deck.
When it comes to live streaming, because it makes everything
store that Mike got
super easy to be able to stream with, because I can just click a button and everything's done. So I get the pricing, but man, like it's worth, like, for streaming. Like, don't get me wrong, there are other people who make better mounts and better things, but when it comes to the streaming world of like being a person who has to do creative work and trying to like make a name for yourself and like make this worth it for you, they make really good products.
Or
for
being
streamers.
unemployed and like buying stuff. Yeah. It's fantastic. Well, plus, I agree. It's easy to use. Very easy to use.
Also, if you go out and look at Amazon, $100 for a mic arm is not all that crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
$15.
The exposed spring ones that like brong every time you move them and stuff like that are like $15. Sure. And like it's hard even to find $15.
Are you talking smack about my arm right now? Is that what you're saying?
They're usually around $30.
Springs.
They're usually around $30. And like, you know, once you get to the ones with the internal springs, then it shoots up to like the 50 or 60 range. And then if you go out and you look like the blue microphone arm for like, you know, blue microphones now owned by Logitech, I believe.
What if you just want your springs on the outside? You want to just flex a little bit and just show your springs. Like, why is that a problem?
The blue microphone arm is also $100. So it's not really out of line for like the prices that they have. I think the prices they have are actually right at market value. They're really nice.
You want to go back to Nintendo versus Steam Deck? You want to play then?
No.
A little bit more? No.
Lastly, they announced a couple other things, but and actually they didn't announce some things like their foam, their sound dampening foam things that look like supremely overpriced, but they have a frame on them, so I guess that helps. I don't know. But lastly, and this one's not as exciting for me, but overall is pretty exciting, is that they finally are making a webcam. And
it is good.
At first blush, when you first look at it, you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Because it's 1080p 60. I'm like, okay, I can get that with just about any webcam that I find on Amazon. Well, you can, but just because it says 1080p 60 doesn't mean that you get the same performance out of it. They're actually using a Sony chip. They actually are getting a true 60 frames per second out of it. It is like, you know, when you move around, it doesn't go crazy on you. It also does not have an autofocus. It has a fixed focus, and because like this one right here, I have an autofocus. It's like zoop and then back to me, right? But their fixed focus that they have on theirs goes from
no dice. Sorry, Nick Sego. Thank you for your camera though.
But you know,
the fixed focus on this camera goes from 12 inches to 41 or 47 inches, something like that. So it's right for streaming range. It's not made for someone who's at the back of the room, like back there playing a guitar or something, but it is made for streamers. So they were able to like save money by doing this fixed focus with very, very good lens. Like it's a very clear, very, very sharp lens. And they saved money there. And they use that money in other places on this camera because it's extremely light, which is nice. It's well built. It's got, you know, it's got a big wide open lens. They spent the money on the glass. And as a photographer, Mike, you know that
it's hard to call this a webcam to me.
It is though.
Like it's still a webcam. And I know what you're going to get at next. I'm not going to take that. I'm just saying to me,
you can't talk about it.
It's hard to get this to be just a webcam. Well, the reason why I say that, so webcams, when I think of webcam, I think about little device I plug in.
Everybody thinks he's saying it's difficult, but since he's a photographer and the thing that he's going to talk about next, which is the cool thing about this webcam, is actually getting him hard.
Wow. Kind of.
Drink to that.
So the fact that it has software, the software aspect of
software for the
is
hardware.
what is really cool. Because,
yes.
And to me, Elgato, if they were smart, they should sell the software. I mean, obviously, like every webcam, the hardware is going to be a little different, so it'd be hard to pull off a lot of the stuff they're doing because the actual software.
They did that with the Wave XLR, so you just wait. They might announce that later, like that.
But the reason why this, so like he said, it doesn't seem very great. Like. It sounds good. Sounds like a cool, nice little webcam, especially it's Elgato, so it's probably going to be easy plug and play and probably easy to click and drag, as I said earlier. But what makes it really neat is the actual software that comes with this camera is it allows you to adjust anything manually adjust anything that you would typically on a actual like professional DSLR or like a mirrorless camera. So you literally have sliders to adjust your exposure. You actually have an automatic button you can select to determine the ISO for the room, which ISO is the amount of light coming into the camera. So that way you can actually turn that up or down based on the amount of light coming in. So you can make your scene like brighter or darker depending on what you actually wanting to do. So it's really neat. There's a lot of other factors. Like you can actually do like the blur, you can do the zoom in, you can do a lot of those different things, which to me is really neat. It's the software to me on this one is actually the best part about this. Because of the fact that like it's allowing you to make a webcam, which literally what they're producing is a webcam, which I hate to say that because of all the extra software features, but it literally is just a webcam, but the software is what makes it.
I broke Kelly. You have to drink.
I don't have anything to drink. I have to wait till break.
What? You don't have another PBR?
No, I left them in the fridge on purpose because by the time I got to when I got to this point, it was terrible. And I will say that out loud. Once you finish one of these things, since it's warm, it's not great. Not great at all.
Sorry to derail after
fantastic.
I broke
I'm sorry.
there.
Yeah, I just died for a minute.
Totally broke her. I agree with you 100%. It's back to the hardware plus the software, which makes it worth it because, oh my God, the Elgato face cam is $200. Yep. And if I didn't already have a plenty good camera, I might consider it because of the software with it. The software, along with the quality of the hardware, is actually what makes it worth it. Like I saw professional streamer and the normal camera he used, and he switched over. Day Drinker saw the same thing, and then
it made me want the same camera.
Yeah, because he showed. Now, granted, it's not out of the box perfect. It's the fact that you can adjust it is what makes it worthwhile. Yeah. And he adjusted multiple different cameras, and it was noticeably better in most of the scenarios, in all the scenarios, actually. Now, it was close in some of them. And again, this is a guy who knows what he's doing adjusting. So that's good. It looks like that you could literally, if you want to make sure you're looking your best on stream, it looks like that this camera really can do it. So that's for the 200.
That's the whole
being
point.
Able to change ISO, shutter, exposure. I mean,
you're literally taking a webcam for like the $30 to $60 range, and you're making it into a actual camera because you can control all of the actual pieces of it like an actual camera. And that's the difference. So like you look at $200, like, oh my God, $200 for a webcam. But really you're thinking it's $200 for a camera. Which in the sense of like, because of the software aspect, which you can actually adjust. Like that's what makes this piece a lot better for the average person, because don't get me wrong, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew about cameras, would I have purchased the camera that I have now that I'm using for streaming? Like, because I can also take it with me. I know that it can do other things than just streaming. And that's why I purchased this. But if I was only doing this, type of thing, doing creative work, and I'm like trying to like make videos and just be a personality online, this sounds like an amazing offer because I'm literally going to pay $60 for a webcam that is fixed. I put it there. It's just there. I can zoom in, on OBS when I'm streaming. I can make myself closer, but it doesn't really do anything. Because the thing is also, when you start stretching your video and trying to zoom in, like that ISO I talked about earlier, the light coming into that lens, you have to be able to boost that up, or your screen's gonna look very dark. And being able to do all of that stuff with the software on its own is like way like advanced, like for what you can do.
Yeah. Although to be clear, this camera, when you zoom it in, it is a software zoom. It has no optical zoom whatsoever, as opposed to our cameras actually do have an optical zoom.
Right.
But again, we paid a bit more for these cameras because they're true cameras. We can take them anywhere. We can take them on the boat, and you like video surfing for like just a random instance. So
I mean, as if you guys have ever done that.
We haven't. Totally haven't.
But no, I think they're doing an important thing here, is that they're bringing some competition to this market, which is a much needed competition. The Wave 3 and the Wave XLR are good competition to the Go XLR, which I don't even think
this is a market. Like, I think this is untapped potential for them. Like, this market doesn't exist. they're creating this market.
Yeah.
Microphones and stuff is out there, but this is not that. Like they're literally tapping into an uncharted like area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. And the closest was like the Logitech's face cam or whatever they called theirs, which was a 1080-60, very, very nice webcam, extremely nice webcam. Also close to the $200 range. So again, Elgato coming in about the same price range as other people. But the problem with Logitech's is their software is not good for it. It's just not.
Yeah.
And $150 it looks like for the Stream Cam Plus Logitech camera.
Which also, by the way, was see if they have stock. They don't.
Which, by the way, was impossible to find for the longest time too. During the COVID thing, because everybody was just buying webcams.
That's true. Very true.
Webcams, and microphones. Like I got the HyperX Quadcast, the original, the red one that I ended up giving to Demirin. Like when I got that one, it was like I'd literally been searching for weeks online. I saw an opening at the local micro center that was nearby. They apparently had some. I drove up there, and by the time I was buying one, there was a lady in line buying 4.
Whoa.
Because she had a podcast. And I'm like, looking at this lady like, you have a podcast and you're buying 4 of these. Okay, sure. She's like, yeah, because it's like the best one. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. I mean, been at the Val. Maybe she did have a podcast and that's what she did. Maybe she's out there listening right now and thanks, I guess. But I don't know. It's crazy. They went fast.
Yeah, they did.
Anyway, that is the news for today. Give us a few minutes. We're actually going to play a little normal ad where you hear me talk about things, which is typical. And then we also have an ad for somebody else, another podcast that's out there that's doing some cool little stories. So check it out.
Yeah.
D&D.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, they do D&D. So if you like D&D, actually listen to the ad coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
And then check out the podcast.
All right. So give us just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Are you itching for a good story? Laughter among friends, maybe even a mystery or two? Well, you're in luck. Fire Breathing Kittens is a standalone Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Each episode is a separate 3-hour-long story, like a movie for your ears, so you can listen to these adventures in any order you like. So join us on a real play D&D quest as we solve mysteries, attempt comedic banter, and enjoy friendship. Fire Breathing Kittens podcast, fantasy, action, mystery, friendship.
And we're back. So, what we've been playing this week. So we played Game of the Moment on Tuesday this week. I'm not used to all this music. It's
that was voted for by chat while you guys were gone. I had 3 different options. That one was the winner.
That was cool. I'll take it. So we played a game this week that was much not like a game, more of a work, and I'll even get weirder than that after this. But the first one, the Game of the Moment game we played was called Game Dev Tycoon. So we played a game called Game Dev Tycoon. It's a very basic style game. It's almost like a mobile game, which is funny because it actually is available on mobile. It's a very easy looking type of game. There's not a whole lot of like super graphics involved or like super mechanics or anything. But the idea is you are a game developer living in your basement. I guess it's your basement, or garage really. It doesn't really say if you're living with your parents or not, but you are starting off and you have a couple topics that you can make a game on, and you start off in the 80s, and it's literally like going through the game history that we have, like starting off in the 80s, and then it says like, hey, a new company, Navento. And I think I mentioned this back on the last podcast, but so we played this live, which was really cool because it didn't seem like a good stream game. I was really thinking more of like the other, party. So I had Brian, Kelly, and Bruno with me, and I was kind of just showing them.
Boy, were you wrong.
Boy, was I wrong. And what I didn't know is that Bruno apparently had this on his phone that he's been playing for like many, many, many years or months, and was like, yeah, I kind of have this on my phone. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like way more than I expected. So it was actually a really neat streaming game because of the fact that, so you have to make a name of the game. You have to pick what genre, what topic, what type of engine, all those different things. And shout out to James Z Great. I'm sorry, James Z Sucks. I just told the wrong name here. Oh man, that was terrible. What did I do? Shout out to him though. He actually told to be the person in the
I'm so confused
in
now.
the stream. And we used him a lot for all of our gaming, and it was great. So it was a pretty good time. We used him for our engine and all of that stuff.
Well, we used him as inspiration for stuff, but we also used suggestions that he made. We ignored suggestions that he made. We used suggestions that a lot of chat made. Chat was on fire that day because we were just like,
thank you to chat.
Give us, thank you, because you're the reason why we do all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So they were giving us suggestions on game names, on like genres, on like jokes that we could use against James DeSucks. So yeah, that was an amazing time.
Yeah, it was great. So we were able to play through living in our garage up to finally getting our own place after we sold our last game. One of our engines was called Vacuum because he sucks based on his name. So we made Vacuum as our engine.
Which you didn't get at the time, which I think is hilarious.
You didn't have to say that out loud. All of these are getting blocked in chat right now, which is kind of appropriate, but it's a name. I'm familiar with it too. It's hard.
Nope. We have to go. Just continue on. Don't worry about that.
So anyway, so that happened, and it was a great time. We had a blast as far as like the whole like chat time with it. Just being able to pick a game, name the game, and I think it was even Demirin at one point was like, you know what, we're gonna YOLO every middle column, like whatever the column is in the middle, we're gonna YOLO that. Everything else is 100% down.
Yes,
and we did, and like we put out a game that was like 9 out of 10. We're like, how the hell is this even happening? Like, why is this happening? So it was pretty cool. We actually enjoyed that a lot. So because of that, I was like, man, this game is very simple. I want something more. So I downloaded a game called Game Dev Studio, not to be confused with Game Dev Tycoon. Game Dev Studio is available on Steam for, I think, $5, if that, I think. Maybe 15, I don't know. Somewhere in the under $20 range. I purchased it, I don't remember. But all the reviews were saying basically that it's basically Game Dev Tycoon with a little more options. Like you could do a lot more with it. And boy, could you. So you start off the game with like creating a character, and you get to pick like your actual attributes of like your game developer or CEO person. And then you have to go. I mean, this is probably the most realistic management game that I've ever played, into the sense of like, I was having to go through like resumes to hire my game developers, and then I had to approve their vacation. I had to approve them requesting a raise. I had to make sure we approved the game making and then do the QA testing, and then make sure that my manager had an op. It got to the point where I was like, wow, this is a little bit much. Like, I'm making games. There's a lot of customizations to the games. You can like literally do a lot of like customizations to it. But like the actual management part of the game was so realistic at the point where I was like, man, I'm like doing a lot of work here. And then I started thinking like, there's options you can put on that. Do you want to automate it? Do you want to just auto approve all vacation, auto approve all? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to auto approve vacation.
I'm a manager and I know how this freaking
I'm not going
to
auto approve raises. Get out of here. I'm like, I got a 10 out of 10 game we're trying to make. Like, this large project. I can't just let him be off. Like, so that's kind of like where I got at the end of this. And I was like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. Finally, I turned everything on auto. I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna make the games, like make the games, right? So it was really neat because I got to make games. You could split up your teams like into different teams. So you have like, and this is all based on what you want to do. You can build different teams. So you can have a team that was working on like the large product for the game that I was making, this large game. And then I had another team that was like 6 people that were making like the expansion for a previous release game. And so, with their skills and things, I had a guy retire. He was like, hey, man, hey, boss, it's been great. but it's time to move on. Like, I'm retiring. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Have a good life. Like, it's so ridiculous. But if you're into these style of games where you want to like really manage, like literally manage everything, this is the game for you. The game side of it is just a small plus to the whole thing. But man, it was fun. I've still been playing it. It's great. I don't know. I probably won't go back to Game Dev Tycoon because this one has a little more a lot more customizations, like licensing, creating your own engines, type of game, hiring like actual actors to do voice, the management side of it. I mean, creating your buildings, buying other buildings, like expanding. I mean, it was wild, but go check it out. Game Dev Studio on Steam. It is available, and you can pick it up on your Steam Deck eventually once you get one.
I'll get right on that.
I think it's cool that it has more details and is more like work for you.
Thanks. Yeah, because I'm not really busy at work at all. I'm just trying to, fill in my void.
Lots of free time. I'm sure.
This is exactly what I want to do when I come home, is decompress by managing other people and building video games. It's great. It's a great time. I don't know why I'm like evil. Like, I'm like that guy who like thrives on like doing shit that's just ridiculous. Like, why would I want to like come home and just, I don't know. I love that stuff. I love playing like management stuff.
I love managing people. I love managing people.
It's great. I love it. It's so good. Anyway.
And Day Drinker, I love the game that you're playing of ignore chat. So now they're clamoring for even more of you.
I can't. I'm gonna like lose it. I've almost lost it a couple of times, and I've only had to mute once. You have lost it. I've only had to really mute once, but yeah. So I'll see this later on Twitch. I may have mentioned this last week, but I started playing this game called the Untitled Goose game.
Oh, you haven't, but no, ooh.
Okay, yeah.
How's that?
I like puzzle games, and so the place that I used to work had some geese who were, I'll just call them jerks.
Assholes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Not cool, like chase after you. And so I know that geese are assholes. So saw this game on Steam, picked it up during the sale, and I was like, this is actually probably going to be good. And it's good. It's not a game that like I can show on Game of the Moment or anything like that, but because that would be pretty boring. But like, you honk at people. I mean, maybe later on. But
that was a pretty good goose honk.
Yeah. Yeah. So you like steal stuff from like the gardener, and you're just a jerk. And
so you're a goose.
Kind of up my alley. Yeah. But again, a puzzle game. You need to figure out how to, get stuff onto the picnic blanket first, and then like how to steal the boots and what you.
I don't see anything wrong with this.
It's definitely a learning game, but it's been a lot of fun. So if you like puzzle games, I definitely recommend the Untitled Goose game.
I love the child that is afraid of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So funny thing, my girls have watched me play this a little bit, and I'm about to get on an airplane, and this is the only thing that I want to do on the airplane. So guaranteed one of my daughters is going to be sitting next to me watching me play this. So
if only you had a Steam Deck.
Oh, what? Insert Steam Deck. Yeah.
If only you had a Steam Deck.
Yes. Deck?
What about you, Brian? Did you play anything this week other than...
No, just Clash of Clans. We just did our first war where we got a perfect 15 stars.
It was great. We like demolished them. And actually, it was just me and you. Yeah, it was just us. It was great.
Yes.
And it was 5. I have 2 phones and I have 2 accounts. I'm a terrible person. But we did do that, and we actually destroyed them. It was great. So
I do not plan on playing this a month from now.
We'll see. So if you want to join us on Clash of Clans, you can check out our Discord. We have all the deets there, but it's just SAS Gaming. You can check us out. We're there. We need like 2 more to do 10v10, so join us. If we don't have anything else, I guess I never changed the little banner for the video, but here we are, what we've been playing. I guess we can move on to our shorts.
That was the same music, just shorter.
So, a cheat maker has bragged about his computer vision auto aim that works on any game. This is an article from Ars Technica. But basically, the way this thing works is it has an algorithm called YOLO, you only look once, that has been trained to find human-shaped enemies in image, or at least a small central portion of an image near a targeting reticle. So basically, it scans a screen, it has a little reticle, it finds inside that human shapes.
Reticle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Reticle.
Reticle. God.
Okay.
Terrible person.
Yeah, because a reticle is completely different.
That's what I heard. Sorry.
I said it twice.
Continue.
It's fine. It's fine.
Killed him. I damn near reticled him.
Moving on. So it's pretty ridiculous the way it works, and that's pretty much it. They're like bragging about it because they're just gonna just do it anyway. They don't care. So they're like Kuna.
I think it's actually a smart way to cheat, because it's only if it sees something on screen, so it's not seeing stuff through walls or anything. So you're not sitting there shooting at a wall. It's not a wall hack.
Right.
It's only if you see them somewhat close to the center area, which also smart, because a good player, when they see another enemy player near the central area, is going to aim at them and shoot. So yes, how do you tell the difference between this and a good player? I'm going to keep an eye on this, because this is an interesting thing that it's going to be hard to combat if they actually have the cheat built fast enough and good enough. So kind of cool.
All right. So Microsoft Teams, I know a lot of people are doing Teams videos, Teams meetings. If you are and you love Clippy as much as I do, you can get a background with Clippy in it.
Clippy?
Yes. And also the Microsoft Solitaire, like the bouncing solitaire cards are game cards.
I'm gonna look this up right now so I can do it Monday morning.
Yeah, and then the Microsoft Meadow, Microsoft XP Meadow that everybody had on their background. Mm-hmm. So you can definitely be there and bring back some nostalgia.
I mean, that's cool if they're owning it. I mean, people complained about Clippy because it's ridiculous, but hey, I mean, at least
Clippy's
you can bring it back.
Hysterical. So. Yeah.
So on that note, I guess there's a cat, so we should drink.
Oh, yep. Meow.
Right.
There's my camera. I need to clean my camera up. Like, I'm so out of focus. Sorry, guys.
No, I think that's just the alcohol.
We'll just have to get you the new one.
Yeah. Next stream.
So Amazon created a while ago Lumberjack, which is, if I remember correctly, originally based off the Crysis engine. So it's kind of the
Lumberyard.
Sorry, Lumberyard.
We made backstory.
Lumberyard.
We made so many jokes about the name of this thing that it confused him, because we have like 4 jokes about what this should be called, and I don't.
But yes, Lumberyard. Lumberyard originally built off, if I remember correctly, the Crysis engine, and they built it for doing in-house stuff. They got New World, I believe, is built on it, and a number of their games that they have created and since canceled. And so they decided to take Lumberjack and make it open source so that anyone can use it if they want to. I guess it's a pretty good engine and it doesn't cost anything. So go for it.
All right.
I'll drink to that.
Drinking. Sorry.
And I'll drink some more as I say that.
Yes. Super Mario 64 unopened cartridge sold for over $1.5 million, which I think is crazy. We had a little conversation about that earlier, and I was like, wasn't that sold like with the game? So couldn't you have sold the console for more? But whatever. On top of that, people are speculating that you can start buying up other games and then eventually selling them in the future for more. Somebody bought Skyrim for $600 at an auction, unopened. Probably keeping that, and we'll see what happens if we're still around in a couple of years. And we'll be reporting on that one.
So a little extra information. It sold through Heritage Auctions. And what's weird about this, what's really strange about this, is that while this one was a 9.8 A+++ condition as rated by WATA, W-A-T-A, if I'm correct, who you literally send them the item and they rate how good it is based off of, the shrink wrap and, if there's any creases in the box. And so they give a rating on how near mint condition it is, basically. And that's, in theory, one of the highest ratings you can get from them, which is weird because I would think a 10 would be the highest rating. But apparently, somebody said this is the highest rating you can expect to get out of a WATA rating. Well, there were other WATA-rated Mario 64s that recently got sold by Heritage. And this is hearsay. I was not able to actually sign up in time. Hearsay, whatever. I mean, it depends on whether you're into hearing or ears, the ear mics, or hair.
Hair ears.
I mean, I'm into a lot of things, but I don't want to talk about it here.
Yeah, right? Hey, but I'm not going to kink shame. No, this is hearsay. This is... Whoa, we had a mic arm. We need a new mic arm now, apparently, too, because it's more solid mount on the new mic arms from Elgato. We are open for promotions. We had a hardware malfunction. No, what's interesting about it is this isn't the first one that's been sold. Now, some of the other ones that sold recently, from what I heard of other people that did the research, because I was not able to sign up, because I had to sign up to Heritage Auctions in order to see the previous auction sold prices. And I didn't get it done in time before the podcast. But having heard other people researching this, there were other ones that sold. Now, they weren't quite as good quality. They were like 9.4s or 9.6s or something like that. And they sold for $4,000.
Holy wow.
$6,000. Like, and I'm not talking a year ago. I'm talking last month. A sealed like 9.5 or 9.6 WATA graded version of Nintendo's Super Mario 64. So people who are going out and buying games that are sealed copies, blah, 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 thinking to hold on to them. No, this is an anomaly. Like, even before this, the record wasn't even really all that close to this.
Yeah. I mean,
this isn't like a super rare game either.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you're going to do it when it is available, if you bought the 64 and you bought Mario 64 separately just to have it because you knew you were going to play the one that came with it and just keep it for whatever sake, sure. But don't go out and buy them now, don't,
and even then, the stuff that's mass market usually isn't going to get you all that much. Yeah,
unless it's like first release, sometimes the first edition will get you some extra money.
Well, it depends, because if it's true first edition, because
especially back in those times where there was like patches that weren't involved, like it's just a console,
not just
cartridge,
patches.
Like it's just
some of it is printing errors too.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So the last record was a Legend of Zelda that recently sold for $870,000. Now, this isn't Mario 64. This is Legend of Zelda. Original NES.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that it is something that sold less copies at the time because it had a smaller install base. It is a more beloved franchise than... I'm not knocking Mario 64 here, but it's it's not
I would say
the best of the Mario series.
It wasn't my favorite Mario either. Agree.
Wait, Mario 64 wasn't your favorite?
Mario 2 was my favorite.
I would.
I know. That's weird. I know it's weird.
Wait, which one did you say?
Mario 2.
Mario 2.
Yes.
So Mario 2 is
That's
odd.
awesome.
Yeah,
it's
strange,
an odd game. But
it is.
I'm
I
surprised
think that's why I like it.
that 64 what you wouldn't say is the most popular, because that was definitely the game changer.
Oh, I didn't say most
not
popular.
you,
I said not
Brian,
my favorite.
Brian was saying that. That's
sorry.
why I'm like, that's...
Sorry, guys. Did I mess up everything? Yeah, probably.
No,
sorry.
It's fine. You're fine. But Mario 64 was a very mass-produced thing compared to this Legend of Zelda shrink wrap that was $870,000. And, you're also talking about a number of years difference. I mean, not a huge amount, but like 87 to Mario 64 was in the 90s. So this is an anomaly. This $1.5 million was a couple of people with more money than brains being dumb. This is not worth that much. Like, none of them are worth that much. The Legend of Zelda for $870,000, kind of anomaly itself, but still.
Can we ban?
Before that was $660,000 sent by a copy of Super Mario Brothers. Because Super Mario Brothers also... Wait, was Super Mario Brothers, or was it... Yeah, because Duck Hunt was a pack-in with the light gun. Super Mario Brothers, was that a pack-in with the NES?
Super Mario Brothers with NES? It would probably be the mix. So the one that's Super Mario and Duck Hunt.
There was a dual cartridge if you got the light gun, because you need light gun.
So that's the thing, and then the original Super NES came with Gyromite, because it was with the whole robot.
Oh, okay.
It was the whole robot thing they were selling, right? Because it wasn't the console, because people didn't want consoles; they wanted the robot.
Rob was.
I remember that.
Later.
Oh my god,
that was the reason why
Rob
they did that,
too.
because nobody wanted consoles. Like Atari bombed out so hard, they were like, "No, we're good."
Totally forgot about that.
Here's a robot.
Sorry.
It comes with a console. You're like, oh, okay. And you play Gyromite, and it's terrible. I hate that game. That noise to this day drives me crazy. Like the squish sounds. Done. Anyway.
Wow, we found one of his triggers. Holy cow.
Hate that game. Hate it.
Who wants to piss off Mike?
Hate that game. Hate that
Holy
game.
cow.
Yeah, and you guys are both like frantically looking up Gyromite squishing sound. How do I do that? How do I play that?
No, we're not. I'm not. I'm looking at pack-ins for NES, actually.
Man. All right, go ahead. Somebody else.
So anyway, no, we'll continue on. I already changed this news short into like something that we should have moved up to the top. So.
Apparently. Can we all drink before we do that? Because you definitely...
yeah. Okay, there we go. So, finally moving on.
All right, I'll start the timer over. For those of you listening, we have a timer on the screen. It's supposed to be like 1 minute, and there's like a whole drinking game involved when you'll make the 1 minute with the drink. So, go ahead.
And now...
54.
Start it over again.
Yeah. No, this counts as part of your 1 minute.
It's fun. Yeah, you just got to
go.
No,
it doesn't. So, Halo Creator actually showed off some of the unused weapons from the original Halo Combat Evolved. Why this caught my attention is because he was one of the people that was working on these original weapons, and these are weapons that never made it into the game. So go out and check it out if you're interested. One of them was a microwave gun, which the aliens were actually going to cook Master Chief in his own armor. That sounds pretty cool. And there was another concussion weapon as well, if I remember correctly here.
What was it?
So the weapons don't fully work. He shows off what he can of them. They were never completed, so it's only partial, but it is pretty good. The excavator, particle beam rifle, concussion gun, and the microwave gun.
Sweet. With 8 minutes to spare.
8 seconds.
Seconds. Zycia, drink because you Zycia'd that up.
It's fine.
So, here, I'll drink to that too. Hold on.
8 minutes to spare. It was 13 seconds.
So, Donkey Kong celebrated 40 years of being Donkey Kong and also 40 years of high scores. Ironically. There were two people who scored almost plus 1 million points. A math teacher in Washington, Weeb. Sorry if I mispronounced that name.
Yeah.
And then
Weeby.
Yeah. And then another guy named with Leslie Mitchell. But there was some controversy over who got to over 980,000 points first. Weeb totally did it. And then they disqualified him for his video, saying that they thought he didn't actually do it. And then this other guy, Mitchell, got it and then eventually got disqualified as well. So Weeb actually had other people watching him play, and he was like, surely they will realize their fault and we'll be okay. And so Weeb is now technically... Twin Galaxies has recognized him as the highest scoring player. Which
apparently they got to the kill screens, which couldn't get further.
The kill screens were crazy.
I'm shocked you don't know about Billy Mitchell.
I know.
Billy Mitchell's like he's like seriously, he's a tall he looks like a tall version of Peter Dinklage.
Oh, really?
So if you
gotta go check him out.
If you haven't watched,
he's really interesting.
And we're going to drink in a second, but if you haven't watched any of the like history of like Donkey Kong or just like Nintendo, it's great. Like the whole, like if you can, I would say, I think I told you guys this last time. It was the Power of something. It's on Netflix, I think, or Hulu.
Oh, no. Yeah. So
Try to watch that one because it does do it's obviously mostly Nintendo, so it's going to tell you a lot of things.
Power Up or something.
Yeah, but it does
right.
It does add in a lot more to the story, so you can actually hear like. I mean, I've listened to a lot of documentaries and I've watched a lot of documentaries and I've listened to a lot of audiobooks. Like it's just like putting it all together. I finally got to hear a little bit extra, but man, the story of like how all of these games like became a thing and watching, and that specifically that documentary, watching the owner, the CEO of Atari, like so sour, just sitting there like very just like callous and just sour. Like you could just tell he is like not happy with his stock being at like 95 cents right now. He's not happy. Like it's so bad, but man, it's such a good story. Such great.
I've been watching what's the other one? I'm so late to the game on this one. Pun intended, on Netflix. It's just like the history of video games and talking about the Nintendo counselors and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Super cute.
Do you know, here's a little fun fact. Do you know why Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong when it like literally looks kind of like another character? What? King Kong? Mm-hmm. Do you know how that even happened?
Don't.
Or how it actually was able to happen? So in a long story short, so in the 30s, you had King Kong. You had this like massive like gorilla character that's like taking over the Empire State Building or whatever.
I've seen the OG.
And is it Paramount
the original,
Pictures
not OG,
or
but the original,
Warner Brothers? Whoever owned the IP of King Kong back in the day. Once Donkey Kong became a character, right? Like, and they started making money. Nintendo was like making money. They approached them and were like, "Hey, we're going to sue you guys because you took our character." And they're like, and at the time, Nintendo wasn't large. It wasn't like a Nintendo at the time, right? So they assumed, as a major motion picture company, that they would just pay the royalties out and just be done because they made a lot of money. Well, Nintendo said, no, we're not going to just back down like that. We're going to hire a lawyer and we're going to go for it. This lawyer's name is actually pretty interesting because we'll talk about him in a second. But basically goes through the whole process and finds out, this lawyer is actually really good. He finds out that the IP of Donkey Kong, or the IP of actually King Kong, has already been passed into the free market because it was back in the 1930s and we're talking about the 80s. So they had no property, no value of property, no ownership of property over the King Kong IP. Therefore, Donkey Kong couldn't be illegal or couldn't be worth, anything to pursue. So Nintendo won this battle against this major motion picture company, which was like unheard of. And that's also what kept Nintendo, that was make or break, really, because they basically stepped up and like doubled down And like, if they would have lost this, they would have lost basically their company.
That thing would have been gone.
And it'd have been gone. It'd have been gobbled up. So the lawyer's name was Kirby.
Oh, I do know this now. And then, yes. And now
so
he was Kirby.
They named another major character they had after him because of the fact that they saved basically his company at the time. So fun
super
fact.
Cute.
Yeah.
Although the current CEO of Nintendo America, Mr. Bowser, they did not name Bowser after him.
Yeah.
That was just a coincidence that he had the same last name. They did not name Bowser after him.
Yeah,
no, I love that.
Anyway, so that was way over a minute, but yeah, fun fact.
I drank to that.
Get better about moving these up.
Fall Guys. So Fall Guys has been around for a while. They're on season 5 now. They're coming out with. They actually posted on Twitter a little puzzle, an actual jigsaw puzzle, and people could figure it out. It was figured out pretty quickly, and they found out that it was Jungle Adventure. It's the new season that they're coming out with. So Jungle Adventure is the new season announced by Fall Guys for the new season. It's gonna have like Robin Hood like figures hiding in the water. There's gonna be alpacas. There's gonna be like mummies. There's gonna be all kinds of like weird things going on in this Jungle Adventure. But that is the new season that's coming out for Fall Guys. So of course, like everything else, they're gonna make new levels. They're gonna do a lot of new games. I mean, this game's not going away. It's actually a really fun game for multiplayer. So if you want to hang out with your friends and play a little game, good game to play.
All right. Microsoft tweeted out that in response to Psychonauts 2 having a toggle to drinking to my fuck up. Sorry.
Oh my.
Psychonauts 2 has an invincibility toggle. And Microsoft tweeted out that beating the game on the easiest level is still beating the game. And I just have to say that part of what I've read in the article, I completely agree with. I've never said I beat the game. I say I've finished the game. So, one, you're not beating the game. You just get to the end. But also, you have had access. You should always have access to all of the things from the game that you have purchased. So if I have to get past some, major milestone and get to the other stuff, I think I should have access to that. I love that, and I'm going to go way past, so everybody's going to have a drink, but I love that, playing a game isn't like beating it on the hardest level. And if that's how you feel, that's fine. Like,
Demirin.
I do it, but don't gatekeep me, man. Like, when I finish a game, if I want to go back and play it on a harder level, great. If I want to skip a couple of things, or if I just want to see the game. So I've already talked about, What Remains of Edith Finch. That is one of my favorite games. It is also a very beautiful game.
It is.
For me, being able to pick up like a can and look at the whole can and see what's on the can and putting it back and like seeing, candles that are lit and the detail of the game. For me, that's part of the game. And if I finish the game without killing some of the bosses, obviously there aren't bosses in that game, but I think that's okay. So for everybody out there who likes to play games and finish them, or play them and maybe not finish them, enjoying the game is the spirit of the game. And I think that that's what the developers are really going for.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Another developer, Sega, who also develops physical games. In fact, they developed this physical game called Keymaster that there is a lawsuit over, saying that it is not a skill game as it claims to be, that it actually has, let's say, manufactured odds in it. It's a game where you use a joystick to line up a key to get into a keyhole. and several gentlemen were trying this, and you'd think the gentleman would be really good at putting a key in a keyhole.
They're not. I've heard they're not very good at that. Sorry to go ahead.
But in this case, they were actually able to show that even though they had the timing perfect, that the key still did not go into the hole. Hey. And they actually were able to determine, based on other things that were happening in the game at the time, some indicators that showed that the game wasn't ready to give out yet. And so they were able to prove that it was actually a rigged game and not a skill game. In fact, they actually found out that yes, that by default, it has to have 700 losses before it actually allows a win. And some of the wins could be like earbuds and different electronics and stuff like that. This is a game in malls throughout the United States.
Which one? Rocket League?
Keymaster?
No, you're talking about the one with the key. Like the actual, like it's like a shape of a key and it like goes into the hole.
Yeah.
I thought you said Rocket League.
They have those in casinos.
Where were you?
Yeah.
Where were you
I
the
know.
last, like...
I know. I'm saying they have those in casinos.
65
and like,
seconds?
that is interesting.
But what's important is that they're also not in casinos, because part of what got my attention is this sentence.
I've seen them
because it's... Well, I didn't say they weren't in casinos. I said what's important is they also have them not in casinos. And why that's important is this sentence. Under Arizona law, outside of casinos, it is illegal for gaming machines to have settings that permit an operator to alter the odds of participants winning the game.
Okay. I've seen them in a casino. So what are you saying?
You can't do that. You can't do that.
What I'm saying is that they're also outside of casinos. Yeah. I understand Arizona, they're in casinos.
Yeah.
I've twice said that they're also not in casinos. And it specifically says on the game that it's a game of skill when it's not.
Right.
It's a game of rigged odds.
Yeah, and we've talked about that.
It's literally like a slot machine. And I mean, yes, a slot machine is not about skill. It's all about a set number of odds that the game is rigged to only pay out so often. And it's interesting that this was actually set up the same way. And because of that, there's an actual lawsuit against this. You're going to have to drink because Zycia messed that all up.
Hey, I Zycia'd it. Let's go.
Yeah, you did. What's worse is I have to edit the transcript every time we say the word Zycia.
Yes. So this is our email section. We have no emails. I just checked the box. We have nothing. But what we do have is an ad.
No music for that.
That you were listening to already, apparently, if you're listening to the podcast, for another podcast called Raging Kittens Podcast, which is a D&D podcast. You should check it out, and you should probably check them out, and they're great. But yeah, we have no emails this week. If you want to send us an email, it's goa@sasgaming.com. And we'll check it out, read it online, and talk about it. I mean, you can tell us anything you want to. Preferably, we'll read it if it's not too crazy. Or maybe we'll read it and bleep out some of the things we need to. But yeah, just send us an email. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us what's keeping you sane. I'm okay with some
crazy stuff. Yeah. Like, send us something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, care what you say. But also...
I know exactly what I'm saying.
But, like, we would love to see some of this stuff. So if you're just, like, tell us what's getting you through the day. If you have something that's just, like, getting you through the day, show us, tell us, whatever. We're interested, so do that. So that's what got our attention this week. If you are interested in checking us out, you can check us out on Thursday nights, actually, or typically Thursday nights, live on Twitch at 9 p.m. Tonight was a Friday. We just kind of spur of the moment kind of did this. We may bring in the drinking thing a little bit more than usual. I don't know. We'll see.
Why not?
Well, it doesn't have to be alcohol. I mean, if there's anything interesting out there that we want to try.
I don't know about that.
Tea
it'll probably be
or kombucha or...
I don't know about that. Anyway, so we'll do some of that stuff.
I was thinking like weird semi-illegal like energy drinks.
Are we going to be like microdosing?
What is going on here? So if you are interested in any of that...
directly from like North Korea.
If you're interested in any of
I don't think
that,
that's legal.
you can watch it live on Thursday. If not, you can check us out on YouTube, and we throw the videos up on there. If you're interested in maybe supporting us in some way, like being my father and like I hold your hand and you give us candy, you can check us out on the Patreon, patreon.com/sassgaming, SASS gaming.com, where you can like get some different tiers of like where we can like record your voicemail, or we can like, you know, give you free ads, like, you know, free ad-free podcast or whatever. So that's
The
basically
whole
it.
podcast.
Yeah, free ads, a free podcast too. You can just have them for free. We'll just give them to you. So that's basically it. So I am Zycia, XYCIA. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Zycia Gaming. And I don't really have a lot of content, but I have a new camera that I want to do content with. I just haven't done it yet. So hopefully that'll come into place soon. I hope to get some more content going. And since I said that, I'm going to have to do it. Brian, what do you have?
You can find me at Phoenix Nova. That's PhoenNNix Nova on really Twitter and YouTube are the main places. If you follow me on Twitter, then you'll have announcements on any time that I do a live stream. I just I think it was last weekend, live streamed a Porsche 911 out of Lego. That was kind of fun. On top of that, the YouTube video also has non-live stream content as well. Mostly Lego related, not as much gaming related, but I don't know, kind of cool. Check it out. How about you, Day Drinker?
Oh, I am Daydrink for ATL on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And I have started posting a little bit more, so check me out. And I will post way more this week. So.
Hey, sounds good. Well, as always, we love all of you out there, fans, listeners, viewers, whatever you want to call yourselves.
We do love you. Yeah.
We really appreciate you guys being here. We literally do this for you guys.
Especially. We
do this because it's fun for us, but you guys make our day, so we really appreciate that. Until next time, you know, you guys be safe. So love your family and go do something fun. Get a vacation. If you haven't taken a day off because like you work a lot and you just haven't done that because you feel like you should work all the time, fuck that. Take your vacation. Take a day off. Do a staycation.
Take a vacation.
Stay home.
Yes.
Just relax your mind.
And let us know, and maybe we'll come like hang out with you in day.
Most jobs, you don't make pacemakers, so you're not going to affect anybody's personal life. Now, if you're a doctor, if you're listening to this, just move on. We're done. But if not,
no, they can have vacations too. And
you know,
plus,
you have vacations.
I'm on vacation, and Mike totally forgot about it and has been talking to me more about work like half the day.
It's fine. Nobody's really on vacation. No, the point is take a time, relax your mind, and we'll see you next week. Take care.